Yeah, for those of you guys who haven't been to the Good Life before, just a quick intro. We're like, we're just trying to create a community of people that want to talk about growing together in different aspects of life. Our four pillars are living sustainably, which includes like finances and being responsible and stuff like that. Having healthy, functioning relationships, living a spiritually fulfilled life, and virtue. Yeah, virtue is the last one. I always forget about that one. I'm the worst guy here. But yeah, just quick thanks to Alex for arranging the space for us. He does a lot of work with the Wave and was able to make it happen for us here. This is our first time in the space, and I'm vibing with it. I don't know how you guys are feeling about it, but I like the couches. I like the atmosphere. And also thanks to Carolyn for setting up the meetup. You're the best, girl. Yeah. And thanks for everybody in the core staff, the music, the behind-the-scenes guys. Really appreciate it. We have a cool talk today about perspective from my best friend Noah. He's a super cool guy, and yeah, I just hope you guys enjoy today. Thank you.
No, I'm not colorblind. No, the world is black and white. Try to keep an open mind, but I just can't sleep on this tonight. Stop this train. Wanna get off and go home again. Can't take the speed it's moving in. No, I can't. But honestly, won't someone stop this train? Don't know how else to say it. Don't wanna see my parents go. One generation's length away, fighting life out on my own. Stop this train. I wanna get off and go home again. Can't take the speed it's moving in. No, I can't. Honestly, won't someone stop this train? So scared of getting older. I'm only good at being young. So I play the numbers game to find a way to say that life has just begun. Had a talk with my old man, said help me understand. He said turn 68, you'll renegotiate. Don't stop this train, don't for a minute change the place you're in. Don't think I couldn't ever understand. I tried my hand, tried honestly. We'll never stop this train. Once in a while, when it's good, it'll feel like it should. And they're all still around, and you're still safe and sound, and you don't miss a thing till you cry when you're driving away in the dark, singing stop this train. Wanna get off and go home again. I can't take the speed it's moving in. No, I can't, 'cause now I see I'll never stop this train. traveling these wide roads for so long. My heart's been far from you, 10,000 miles gone. Oh, I wanna come near and every part of me, but there's blood on my hands, and my lips are unclean. In my darkness I remember Mama's words recur to me. Surrender to the good Lord, and He'll wipe your slate clean. Take me to your river, I wanna go. Oh, take me to your river, I wanna know. Dip me in your smooth waters, going as a man with many crimes, come up for air. As my sins flow down that Jordan, oh, I wanna come here and give you every part of me, but there's blood on my hands, and my lips are unclean. Take me to your river, I wanna go. Oh, take me to your river, I wanna know.
I wanna go, wanna go, wanna go. Wanna know, wanna know, wanna know. Wanna go, wanna go, wanna go. Wanna know, wanna know, wanna know. Oh,
Wanna go,
wanna go, wanna go.
wanna know, wanna know, wanna know. Oh, take me to your river, I wanna go. Lord, please let me know. Take me to your river, I wanna know. Oh, take me to your river, I wanna go. Our speaker today is somebody who has gone through more than his fair share of personal struggles, and he's come on top every single time. Even if it meant having to change his perspective in one way or another, he became a better man through it. And he also just so happens to be the founder, or co-founder, of The Good Life. So please welcome up Noah Trimble.
Thank you, Itzhak. Itzhak makes me sound a lot cooler than I am. I'm pretty cool, but I'm not that cool. So my name's Noah Trimble. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. And I mean, Itzhak's right. My life definitely hasn't been easy over the years. Started off kind of rough. When I was really small, we were poor, lived in and out of shelters. And that's actually when we met them, was in our first, Itzhak's family was in our first apartment that we had coming out of the shelter. So his family were like my first friends growing up. But my parents were divorced, so I moved around a lot, back and forth between Columbus and then Troy, Ohio. Does anybody know where Troy, Ohio is? Okay, there's one. That's usually about how it goes whenever I'm in a big room of people. One person will know about Troy, Ohio. And yeah, things were tough growing up, but it got really bad in high school. I got picked on a lot. My dad wasn't around. I got into a lot of fights, and so basically it accumulated to like this big event where I was asked not to come back to school. And so my mom sent me to go live with my dad out in the middle of nowhere in Troy, Ohio, a really small town where I'm the only kid that looks like me. And yeah, it didn't really bother me so much. I realized culturally there were some differences, but it was really kind of the turning point in my life for the worse. My nickname at that school was Niggy, actually, and that's what my friends called me. And this was for years. I was in this environment, and when I came back to Columbus, we were still poor. And when I was here and we were poor, my mom also had a drinking problem. So I was left alone a lot. There wasn't a lot of food in the house. And I felt like I really didn't have a place to go. When I go to my dad's, it was my community didn't understand me. They called me names. I got jumped a lot just for being different. And my dad was also violent. When I came back here, my mom was an alcoholic who didn't really take care of me very well. So when I was 16, I tried to hurt myself really badly, went to a hospital, and when I got out, I was like, okay, well, I'm never gonna try to kill myself again. I thought that was the lowest life could get. I was like, man, that's the worst I'm ever gonna feel in life, was when I wanted to kill myself. Went to the hospital, saw a lot of people that, to be honest, how I felt was they were crazier than me, and I was like, I don't wanna be here anymore. I don't wanna be in this space. I'm never gonna try that again. I thought that was the lowest point of my life. Got home, my mom was still drinking, and I was like, all right, not doing this anymore. So I moved out of home, I moved into my car. I bought a $600, well, I bought it for $600. It was a Chevy Cavalier, and I named it Sanchez, and I moved all my stuff that I could into it. I loved Sanchez. Sanchez was my jam. It had no radio, it didn't run, and I fixed it and just moved into it full time. And I thought maybe this is when things get better, when I'm out of home. But things got worse. At my absolute lowest, I was living in my car, ran out of gas. It's in the middle of winter. It's freezing outside, and there's freezing rain. And I have nothing. I'm in debt. My job, like, I didn't have money. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a livelihood. I had no family. I had very few friends, and the ones that I did have, I couldn't tell about my situation, mainly because of pride. I was sitting there, and I was even more angry because I'd already decided I would never kill myself. So my life was even worse because I had to live with all this pain and all this hurt. But eventually I got over it and just made a resolution to make my life better. I met some good people. I found faith again for me, which was super important. God really pulled me out of that situation and brought me into a better life. And it took a long time. It was a lot of work, but I became a better person. I got over my anger. I found a home to live in. I got a better job. I became a leader in my community. I am financially A-okay. No longer in debt, out of debt. Became a good enough person to deserve my amazing wife, who's way too good looking for me and way too kind for me. And I've been able to be blessed to be married to her. And yeah, now I have a family. My family's built up. We're doing well. My mom's my best friend. My dad was before he passed away. We were really tight. My mom's been sober for 10 years. Yeah, that's why she's like one of my heroes. And she really fixed our family alongside me. And I have a community of people around me who really love me and who I really care for. And we can do cool stuff like this, which is really awesome. So I figured when my life got better, that feeling of like dread and hopelessness from when I was in my car, I was like, that's gone, right? It's not coming back. I'm living a much better life. But that's not true. Seems like the struggles of life still hit, and that feeling still comes back. Like, man, how am I going to deal with this? Like, oh, I'm not getting along with my boss at work. Oh my gosh, my life is is terrible. What's going on? I feel hopelessness and hurt and depression and all these things all over again when struggles come. And I thought that wasn't gonna happen anymore. My life is better. But the thing is, the biggest problems that we face are always the ones we're facing right now. We forget so quickly about what we've already overcome, and the things that we're dealing with now seem huge. Like something we can't overcome, a mountain too tall to climb. But by looking back, I'm like, wait, no, I already climbed 3 mountains 3 times this big. What am I so worried about with this thing happening right now, this small thing? Maybe somebody's opinion of me, or I don't know, my sister's acting crazy, or my wife and I are arguing, whatever it is. It's so easy to get caught up in that feeling because you're experiencing it right now. That I can't do this, life is hopeless, and life is hard. But by looking back at a time when you've overcome something bigger, it's really easy to just put that thing into perspective. You guys hearing what I'm saying? You feel that? So now when I get because I still do, I get caught up in my feelings about stuff. Even like today, for instance, my boss came out and he put all these new metrics on us about we have to hit these goals, and they're all new. And I was like, is that in addition, or are we? And they're like, yeah, it's all in addition. So we have all these new metrics. And I start getting like, oh my gosh, I can't do all that. There's no way. I'm already doing too much here. You're already overworking us. What am I gonna do? But of course, I had to give a talk on perspective, so I figured I should probably get some. And and I looked back and was like, you know what? Dude, I lived in my car for 2 years. This is nothing. This is nothing. We're gonna break for discussion real quick. And we'll have the first question is the only one we're gonna kind of focus on right now. But our first discussion question, just pair up with people next to you. If you wanna hop in a group of 3 or 2, that's cool. But our first question is, what is a moment that you overcame hardship that you can look back on to gain perspective on current issues? So pair up with somebody next to you. I'll turn up some music so that you're not worried about everybody else hearing. So just try to share openly. Oh, so how's discussion? Pretty solid. Who has one struggle that they feel like has kind of set the bar for future struggles? You can look back and say, this struggle I'm currently struggling with has nothing on that. It's a lot of struggle, man. Yeah, I can imagine, dude, when your life sounds like a country song, everything starts to look better. That's kind of what I'm talking about. It's almost like if we can look at some of the hardships that we faced in the past and then compare where we are now to then and realize that we made it out, we're still here, we're still alive, you can almost be grateful for that old thing happening because it does make everything else seem small. Now, the other side of that is, say you don't have that much struggle or that much hardship in your past, and you're just kind of going through life trying to figure it out, and then each hardship is actually your biggest hardship. The cool thing about gaining perspective is this can be the challenge that sets the bar for future challenges. Every struggle that you're faced with is another thing that you can overcome to prove your capacity. When you prove that you have greater capacity by overcoming bigger and bigger things, everything else below that bar becomes smaller and easier to handle. Pretty cool. So thank you guys for discussing. Now, life is interesting. It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, and it's full of great things and not so great things. And the great things are, they just kind of I don't know if you can kind of see them. It's love, and I put food in there because I love food. There's family, there's I think I have life in here somewhere. Yeah, because life is good. All kinds of great things, but they just kind of sit there. The great things in your life just sit there. Right now, how many of us were grateful for this room being heated? Alex was. he thought about it, but I didn't think about it until just now. I'm like, man, I am warm. I got nice clothes on my back. I drove here in a machine that takes me from point A to point B 10 times faster than I could run and with zero endurance. It just doesn't, has gasoline but no endurance. It just does its thing. I have my family. They're here. I have friends. I have a home. There's all these, I have the sun. We have life. But it all just kind of sits there, and we don't really pay too much attention to it. I'm going to ask, can I ask you to come up? If you want, if you're comfortable. I was going to have you hang out like right there, if that's okay. So you can read some of the things in there, right? Can you read life on that? All right. And then you can kind of read a couple things in there. But they're just kind of sitting there. It's not the easiest thing to read, though, right? All right. So the good things in life just kind of sit there. But when it comes to struggle, life kind of tosses it to you. And not only does it toss it to you, it puts it right here. So hold it right, maybe like 4 inches from your nose. Now look at the bag. Yeah, it's a lot harder. You can't really see anything else, right? Because it's just right in front of your face. Now, I'm going to have you hold it there the whole time I'm talking. I'm just kidding, but do hold it there for another minute or so. So there's actually this study done at UC Davis where they were trying to figure out why people get stuck in negativity. Like, what's going on? Why are people getting, like, it seems so much easier to get stuck in negativity than it is to get stuck in positivity. And what they found is that we actually have a shortcut wired to negativity, that it's easier for our brains to process a negative outlier than it is an abundance of positivity. They went around and asked people, like, they would ask people, hey, are you interested in buying this thing? It's 40% off. And then they would ask people, hey, would you want to buy this? You only have to pay for 60% of it. One of them is focusing on the amount of loss, and one of them is focusing on the amount gained. Now, you can kind of already tell which way this is going. If they said, hey, do you want 40% off? Would you buy this? Much more people said yes than if you said, hey, you just need to pay for 60% of this. Because the focus is on the negative, on what's coming out of your pocket. Now, the interesting thing is, if you told someone, if you phrased it, hey, this is 40% off, and then later on they said, now, you are going to have to pay for 60% of this, way less people bought it. Even though they had already had the positive feeling of it only being you getting 40% off. And then when they switched back and said, hey, but remember, it's 40% off. The same amount of people bought it as the 60%ers. They still did not feel positive about it. They were stuck in this negative space. Now, see, your brain takes struggle, it takes hardship, and it's a problem. There's just a problem. And it's actually part of an even larger problem that your brain is trying to solve, which is, how is my life? How is life going? And they take these little shortcuts. I actually have it looked up. These shortcuts are called heuristics. And the definition of them is an approach to a problem to solve the problem or self-discovery that employs a practical method not guaranteed to be optimal, perfect, logical, or rational, but instead sufficient for reaching an immediate goal. So your brain comes up with these shortcuts, right? And it wants to find an answer to this question: how is life going? And it finds the quickest answer it can, the thing that stands out: this ball. And a bag full of awesome things, it pulls out the thing that's easily identifiable and says, this is it. So then this takes up most of your vision when you're looking at that. Like, if you were just to hold your hand up and try to look at that bag, it's almost completely covered by the negative thing that you're focusing on. Okay, thanks, man. Thank you. Can we give him a little clap real quick? That was awesome. So we use this shortcut to answer the question of how is life. And our brain is shortcutting to failure. For me, it's failure. Or rejection. You still have love, life, food, central heating, your car. But this is what's important now. So to get perspective is to take the ball and throw it back in the bag with everything else. To zoom out from the thing you're struggling with and put it in the context of the rest of your life. Now, I'm sure many of us do this. You kind of talk your way into it, like, oh, my life doesn't suck. I have shoes on, and I don't have, like, my body's okay. I have family, I have friends. But the ball is still there. It's almost more irritating seeing it in that bag full of green balls, right? It's kind of like when you have a perfect tile floor and one of the tiles is off, and you just can't stand it. You're like, no, somebody, who did this? Who did this? What evil person did this? We need to find them, no matter where they are in their life, and make them come fix this. But the thing is, life isn't a tile floor. It's a mixed bag. It's full of these things. A lot of good, a little bit of bad. And when we step back, you can see the big picture. And it really doesn't look that bad anymore. We're going to break for our second discussion. And what I want you guys to focus on or think about is, what's something that I focus on? What is something either right now or consistently that is right here for you, that's stopping you from seeing all the blessings in your life, all the good things, and maybe just keeping you from really understanding where your life is? Go ahead and we'll take another 5 minutes or so to talk about that. All righty, so how was that?
So you're not saying to try to ignore the struggle, you're just saying put it in its place, right? I mean, you do have to address, but
Exactly.
you don't want it to be the only thing that you think about, so.
Exactly. You don't ignore the struggle. It's still there. You're not ignoring it at all. You just don't want it to consume your whole life. It's that the focus isn't right here all the time. I think Aristotle talks about how, like, the best approach to any problem is a measured one. So the ideal person doesn't act overly in anger or act overly passive. They act with the right amount of anger. And what happens is, when you gain perspective, you act accurately, because this isn't the only thing that you're focused on, and it's not the only thing in your vision or view. When it is, you're going to act as though it's the only thing that exists, and the other things get lost or hurt. So yeah, good point. Yeah, we're not ignoring it. We're just putting the struggle in its proper place. The thing that pops up for me is when there's something in my life that looks like it might struggle or might fail, or like if two of my friends are arguing, then failure pops up and it gets like right in front of my face. Because I'm like, oh man, if I don't do my best and I don't try to figure this out, then I'm going to lose something. And yeah, it takes away from all the other things I need to focus on in my life. And if I were to zoom out, what it would look like is I'd probably take a lot less responsibility for the whole situation. I would just let them figure it out, let me play my part, and just understand that there are so many people out there, and not everything has to go the way I want it to go. I don't have to just focus on this one negative thing that's happening in my life. So I'm just taking a couple minutes to wrap up, and yeah, I want to thank you guys for having great conversation, talking to each other. I hope you guys got to get to know each other a little bit. I got to get to know some people a little bit better, which was really great. But gaining perspective is really about, like, looking at life from where you really are and who you really are. Because life is going to throw all kinds of darkness at you, all kinds of struggle at us, right? It throws it at me every day. And the first question that comes to my mind, the first feeling I get is, I can't do this. Maybe I'm not a good person. Maybe I'm not this. Maybe I'm not that. Maybe I'm weak. Maybe, I don't know, just all this doubt shows up. It makes me question the person that I am and the person that I've been. So gaining perspective is really about just settling your feet in, putting the struggle in its place, and then moving on. Because everything that we've done so far today is about putting struggle back in its place. It's like a struggle comes up and says, I'm the biggest, baddest problem you've ever seen. And you go, actually, not really. You're kind of a punk. Like, you're weak. You got nothing on the things I've seen. Thank you guys so much for being here and hearing us out and talking to one another and being open. I am always open to talk about stuff. I know a lot of people here are too. I hope we can just kind of have a community where we talk about life and try to get better at it. If you're interested, 2 people that help me a lot online when it comes to perspective is this guy Moji, Mooji. He is all about seeing life from where you are. So Mooji. If you look us up on Facebook, I'll post a video, one of his videos on our Facebook group. And then another is, it's an interesting person, but I mean, you guys, I was hoping she'd be here, but my mom. My mom's super cool, and I was kind of hoping she'd be here so I could kind of point to her. But there's so many people here too that can just, if you're struggling with something, it's always best to talk to a friend because they're usually pretty good at helping you get perspective. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
If you're lost and you're lonely, go and figure out why. Take a trip to your dark side. Go on and have a good cry. 'Cause we're all lonely. We're all lonely together. I wanna see your sadness. I wanna share your sins. I wanna bleed your blood and I want to be let in. 'Cause don't we all just wanna be together? Leave what's heavy. What's heavy behind? Leave what's heavy. What's heavy behind? If your face is down, take a look around. Do your fingers move? Do your lungs inflate? Are you tired? Are you weary of the hidden hate you've been holding? Hey, did you lose that love or have you never had it? Are you feeling sad because you did a bad thing? Hey, leave what's heavy. What's heavy behind? Leave what's heavy. What's heavy behind? Oh, are you feeling fearful, brother? Are you feeling fearful, sister? Fearful feeling, replace it with love that's healing. Are you feeling fearful, brother? Are you feeling fearful, sister? Leave what's heavy. What's heavy behind? What's heavy? What's heavy behind? Leave what's heavy. What's heavy behind? Leave what's heavy. What's heavy behind? What's heavy? What's heavy?
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note, but don't worry. Be happy. In every life we have some trouble, but when you worry you make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy now. Don't worry.
Be happy.
Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry.
Be happy.
Don't worry, be happy.
now.
Ain't got no place to lay your head. Somebody came and took your bed, but don't worry. What should you do? Be happy. The landlord say your rent is late. He may have to litigate, but don't worry. Be happy. Look at me, I'm happy. Don't worry.
Be happy.
Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry.
Be happy.
Don't worry,
be happy.
Ain't got no cash, ain't got no style, ain't got no gal to make you smile. Well, don't worry. Be happy. 'Cause when you worry, your face will frown, and that will bring everybody down. Don't worry. Oh, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Everybody. Don't worry. I don't hear you. Be happy. Don't worry. All together. Don't worry. Be happy. One more time like you mean it. Don't worry.
Be happy.
Yay, thank you.
Yo, big thanks to the music. Oh my gosh. I think I'm gonna go to sleep smiling, for real. And I always just want to give a huge thanks to everybody that shows up, because it takes a lot to share with people honestly and be vulnerable. And that's what we're about. And so thank you guys for doing that. Always love seeing new faces. Yeah, also, we can't hang out here too long, but after we clean up and everything, I think a group of us are gonna go to Seventh Sons, just a brewery down the street. If you guys wanna chill there, that'd be pretty dope. Oh yeah, they have food truck, Hawaiian food, I think, something like that. And what? Indonesia too. I've never had either of those, but I'm sure it'll be great. See you guys next month. Until then, have a good life.